when this video finds you is because it's meant to, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when, because this video is meant to find you. We're living in an era where there are so many different options, and we're getting really information data overflow. So that's why we are actually being more forced to use our intuition. So it's no longer like, okay, let me watch this video and see it resonates. It's more like you utilize your intuition before you click on a video. So when this video finds you, there is a higher reason, there is a divine reason why that is. The message I'm meant to channel through for you is the message of the 144,000. If that number rings a bell to you, if that number feels like there's something, kind of tingling, something interesting within you, because it holds a very ancient code. And the code is, there is a warrior, a light warrior that is meant to be awakened within you. And some of you guys, it has already been awakened. And this is a reminder that if you are part of the 44,000, this is a time on this earth where we are being reminded of how great we can be when we join forces together, when that number of us awaken to our true divine essence, our true divine template, or soul blueprint, when we're living in the exactamente. I don't know why that word just came through it like that. In the exact way that you came here to be. No excuses, no fluffing, no toning it down, no people pleasing, and no bending to make sure that no one is upset at you. If you know deep in your heart, I'm not here to work, I never resonated with working, there's a deep truth to it, okay? Modern society will tell you that's irresponsible, you're being lazy, whatever. But it's because you're not meant to work. Working in this modern societal sense can imply doing something for money, doing something even if you don't love it. And inside your heart, inside your soul, if you're part of the chosen ones, you know that you didn't come here to work. You came here to share. That word might resonate with you better. You came here to give. Okay, give codes, give wisdom, share codes, share wisdom, help people heal, sharing your healing gifts, being of service. Yeah, actually being of service, being of divine service, like that might resonate with your soul more. So that's one of the things that I'm hearing for a group of you that feels like you're part of this soul awakening mission, that somewhere along the way, normal work, normal job, normal idea of working, it just doesn't resonate with you anymore. And it's because we are shifting in the new earth abundance, new earth consciousness, where actually you're actually going to become your most abundant self, and you have everything provided for when you fully step into your divine purpose. That's where the money is. That's what I'm hearing. But it's not about the money, but it's just an expression. That's where the money is. Okay, that's where the honey pot is. But more than that, it's because you're designed to want what you're meant to do. Okay, you're designed to want what you're meant to do. You're meant to show up in a very unapologetic way. You're meant to share things that might, bring the hair off of people's skin. And you think like, oh, well, are people going to be ready for that? Am I ready to share my truth? Is it okay for me to say that? And the truth is, ready or not, it's your time, it's your soul mission, it's what you came here to do. And your biggest thing is to get over the lower realm fear, the illusionary fear that stops you from being who you're meant to be. So when I'm talking about fear, it's not about being fearful, like, oh yeah, let's just have no fear and jump off cliffs, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fear that prevents you specifically from being your truest and highest version. That is false. That is poisonous. Because who cares if you're afraid of like rats or like, cockroaches or whatever, okay? But it's like if you're afraid to speak your truth, if you're afraid to share your healing gifts that helps people, if you're afraid to give yourself to the world, when you know that you came here to do just that, you came here to be of service and you're afraid to follow that very path. You're meant to share art, you're meant to share music, you're meant to share wisdom, and you're afraid to do just that. There is something very wrong. Okay? So there is that fear consciousness being wrapped around your, I'm hearing the word crystal, your crystalline being, your preciousness, because you are precious. You're the chosen ones. You're part of this 144,000. But until you claim your spot, until you said, yep, that's me, present, when they say your name, when a divine says, oh, you, are you here? Anyone here? Are they awakened yet? And then you're like, oh, I'm afraid to say yes. I'm afraid to speak up. Okay, skip. Maybe next year or something, because that person's waiting for divine timing. Okay. What I'm hearing also for you is that, are you waiting? Are you waiting on this divine timing because you're actually waiting? Or you're waiting on this so-called divine timing because you're actually afraid and you need something outside of you to maybe push you forward, and you're waiting for that? And what I'm hearing for you is, it's not true. You never needed that. You always knew your power. You always knew your power. And your power is not something that you hold over others, okay? When you hear people talk about, look at me, I'm so powerful, look at me and my cool gifts. You're turning your gifts of divine service into an egotistical thing. And I'm not talking about you, I'm saying in general. Because that's how villains are made. Like villains have cool gifts too, or they have access to cool gifts and cool knowledge and sacred wisdom. But what do? They hoard it, right? They become egotistical. They think they're better than everyone else. They think people who haven't awakened to these gifts or whatever are less than, and they have this sense of, I must, hold all of this to feel special and not share it. So just take note of how that resonates with you, because I feel like I'm meant to share that. Maybe you're noticing there's certain people in your circle who may be showing these signs, and maybe you don't resonate with that 100%. Because I think deep down you believe that what's good is meant to be shared for the greatest good of all. Because God the Creator created us to be exactly who we are, and to remember our divine essence and come together collectively. We're shifting from that me to we consciousness. And when we begin to think anything other than ourselves, that's when we win. That's when we come home. That's when we co-create heaven on earth. But when we live in division, separation consciousness, we become very selfish. We become very fearful. We become fearful of, oh, what are they going to do to me if I speak up? What are they going to think of me if I speak up? Or, oh, this person so not awake. I am more enlightened by 3 points, whatever that means, right? It just, don't get caught up in the commercialized system. Not saying that you are, but just be aware of it. The message coming through is showing up for what you're here to do, unapologetically, it's not about other people. It's about you being in your truth. Because you being in your truth will awaken the truth in others. And at the same time, it's going to reflect you. The more powerful you become, the more awakened you become, you also become a very strong and clear mirror. So what happens is that people can heal, awaken, be inspired, light up, have more energy in your presence and your mere presence alone. And this is what I talk about in Light Warrior. But at the same time, it can really upset people that you didn't expect to upset. And maybe you are that perfect empath who never really upsetted people because you try not to, because you're friendly and tiptoeing and trying to, like tone it down, or I don't know, however. So if you're that person, all of a sudden you're gonna find like a new swarm of people might be really upset with you, or more people be really offended by your existence and what you say and how you show up. And just be reminded that it has nothing to do with you. It comes with the light work, because the light work is also the shadow work. You cannot know the light if you don't know the shadow. Okay? If you're not willing to embody your shadow, you cannot embody your light. You cannot become whole. So just know that when someone's light is ready to shine brighter in your presence, their light will shine brighter. Okay? Because your light confirms their light. But when there is somebody who is not ready to integrate their shadow and dispel their shadow and move on beyond their shadow, your light is going to irritate their shadows even more. So just know that when people come at you, it's not a reflection of, oh, maybe you shouldn't have said that. It's actually a confirmation that what you're saying is in that direction that you're meant to say, and you just need to crank it up even more. Okay? And what I'm hearing for you is that this is whatever you think that you're scared of is your initiation, because your purpose is big. Your purpose is big, meaning that it's meant to reach many people, many souls, many hearts. Your words, your wisdom, your healing, your magic is meant to echo. And you have to be okay with the light, the love, and the shadow and projection that comes with it. So you have to be okay knowing that and experiencing that. So whatever you're experiencing right now, maybe some minor major, I was just trying to say minor and major, minor or major backlashes, or people all of a sudden come onto you. I don't know that come at you. Just know that it's a sign that you're on the right path. Okay? It's a sign that what you're saying is no longer like palatable. You're speaking truth. You're saying something that is bold, is courageous. And just know that why would anyone go through such length to share these wisdoms or codes or healing modalities that it can seem really out there? Why would someone do something like that if it's not for the greater good? Okay, so just know that because you love so much and because you have such a big heart, you're willing to look a fool. You're willing to be misunderstood. You're willing to put yourself out there being judged. So maybe there's some of you listening right now, you know who you are. You're ready to be seen in a bigger way. You're ready to blow up your social media. You're ready to, sell out your books. You're ready to speak on more stages, reach more audience, creating, bigger events and experiences. Then you gotta be okay with mixed reactions and knowing how to deal with these mixed reactions. This is why, understanding how to heal your empath wounds is the key to your visibility. the key for you to fulfill your soul mission, because your soul mission is here for you to fulfill. Okay, that's why it's a soul mission. And you know deep in you, okay, no amount of money, no amount of cool house, cool husband, cool wife, cool food can ever fill that void of your soul mission not being fulfilled. So just know that, me personally, like, there's been times, there had been times that I was like, I'm gonna shut everything down. I'm gonna shut down my coaching, I'm gonna shut down my social media, I'm gonna shut down, my business. And I know that I don't need to do this. Or I know that I can live a very happy life and whatever, abundant, fulfilled life, I thought. And I did, I did. I experienced happiness, I experienced peace, because that's something that I've cultivated. But there's a part of me that felt really restless. Like, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for me to live life so selfishly like that. Because the truth is, if you're being seeded with certain wisdom and certain code, it's innate for you to share it. Like, for me, if I don't share, if I don't channel, if I don't pass on what I know to you, it doesn't feel right for me to know it and just like gollum about it, you know? So just be aware of the stories your ego may tell yourself, that you just need $1 million or $10 million, and then, like, I don't know, GTFO, and you don't need to do any of this. It's not true, because your soul purpose is beyond money. Your soul purpose is a soul fulfillment. It's your karma and your dharma. So just know that you can only have and experience the true life, the divine life that you're meant to experience, when you fulfill your dharma and when you clear your karma. And your karma are the lessons that you need to learn, which is how to speak up. Okay, and maybe for some of you guys, maybe you speak up a lot already, but you're not saying really kind words. So maybe you're speaking out of anger, you're shutting people down. So this is when you have to allow yourself to wait, am I speaking out of kindness, or am I speaking out of hurt? Are my words adding value to people's life, or am I speaking to hear my own voice? And I think it's very important that we check ourselves and be really honest with ourselves. That's the shadow work, you know? Like, we cannot be light warriors if we are not conquering the shadow. So when you find this message, or when this message finds you, it's a confirmation that there is a higher purpose for you. And maybe you've been thinking and thinking and thinking there's something wrong with you. You're not operating the way the modern society wants you to operate. Maybe like be obsessed with money, or be obsessed with working, or be happy and with how they say life's supposed to be, but deep down you know it's not. And maybe there's a part of you that is like still afraid to be your full self. And I want you to know that it's okay. It's okay. But because I believe this is the biggest thing we're here to master. So if you're struggling with it at all, like, you are totally normal, okay? Like, we are here to master how to be our truest version of self. And I don't believe our truest version of self is an a-hole. I don't believe our truest and highest version of self is a pushover. I don't believe our truest and highest version of self is someone who's apathetic. We just have to push our edges and to find our true expression. And usually that comes when you follow your joy, when you allow yourself to just be with nothing to prove, but everything to share. Because that's what love is, and that's what love does. Love is. And love naturally is sharing. Okay, and love is naturally radiating. So if your love and your light and your joy rub somebody the wrong way, and when you're in that state, and when you find someone acts out of alignment, you have to understand that because they are out of alignment, because no one responds to love with hate. Okay, no one responds to love with violence, no one responds to love with cruelty if they're in their right mind, if they're in their right alignment. So that person is in need of healing. So when you just grasp that, you just become more compassionate. And that doesn't mean that you take it and be walked on, but it means that you have that compassionate understanding to, maybe I shouldn't engage anymore with this conversation. Maybe I namaste you and walk away. Or maybe I just say, you know what? You're right. You're right to think however you like to think. And I know who I am and what I am. Okay? Let me know what comes through for you. And we post here every day. You know, I really don't miss. After a long day of travel, I'm like, no, I haven't forgotten about you. This is Tina Wong. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.